Let's talk about my all-time favorite art supply, ink. Specifically, FW acrylic ink, but also in my collection I have the Dr. Martens Black Star Waterproof India ink, and then I have this black watercolor which pretty much works the same way, it's just not permanent. I love ink because of how versatile it is and how many different textures you can get and just different ways that you can use it. So today I'm going to show you all the different supplies that you can use ink with. We'll talk about some unexpected fun materials, and then we'll touch on values a little bit. So starting off with the dip pens, this is my first introduction to using ink, and I think it's a good place to start just because dip pens have been around for so long. For my examples today, I'm going to be drawing the same daffodil over and over so that you can really compare the different line qualities. A little warning, my dip pens are kind of funky right now. I think I need to replace the nib, and I honestly was wondering whether I should start over on this first drawing. I wasn't super happy with it, but please don't judge my realism abilities yet. I think all of the drawings come together and they are just super cool and fun and experimental, and sometimes it's not about making things perfect, it's just about playing around. So out of every material that I'm going to show you today, the dip pens definitely give you the most articulate line. You'll see I'm using a big dip pen and then a small dip pen, and actually because the nib on my big one is a little bit messed up right now, you'll see that I get more ink out of the smaller pen. The nib on my big pen is just not holding a lot of ink, and I have to re-dip it a lot, which produces a scratchy line sometimes, but honestly, that can result in a really cool texture. I also think that this happened because I'm a little bit rough on my pens. I maybe don't clean them as properly or as frequently as I should. But when it's time for me to replace my nibs, I actually have a big supply from this tiny box that belonged to my great-grandpa. They're pretty vintage nibs, but they work just as well as any other nibs would, and I think that's really cool. Dip pens are definitely the most similar texture that you're gonna get to like a ballpoint pen or just your typical day-to-day pens. Also, if you've used like a fountain pen before that has the ink cartridge in it, it's gonna be kind of like that. Although I prefer these because they're a little bit more inconsistent and unexpected things can happen. Like sometimes you'll get a little ink bubble, little ink blob will just fall out of the pen, which can be kind of bad when it happens on your drawing, which is why I recommend having a scratch piece of paper next to you so that you can use that to like start up the ink after you dip it. And when you dip your pen in the ink jar, make sure that you're covering the little hole. That's the spot that actually like holds your ink, but don't get the ink all the way up to the handle. I think that's just not good for the nib. Then I have this bamboo version of a dip pen, which I think is really cool, and because it's like dry and a different material, it doesn't hold the ink for as long, so you do have to refill it a lot. Although I don't mind because the results of working with this are just so cool. I think this pen really gets me drawing loose. I like that it gives you a thicker line, and I even like the way that when you kind of run out of ink, it gives like a textured line, kind of like a dry brushing effect. I forgot to mention that when you use dip pens, you probably already know it, but you're supposed to draw with like the hollow opening side down. But because the bamboo pen is not as delicate as a metal nib, I like to flip it upside down and draw the other way too. Also, with all of the pens I've shown you so far, you're supposed to pull them towards you. That will just give you the most consistent straight line. But again, I like to mess around with the materials a little bit. I get kind of crazy and I turn the pen on its side. So you can really do whatever you want. Also, one of my favorites and one of the easiest things to do is just use the little ink dropper that comes with the ink. I like to squeeze the top and make sure there's no ink in here because you're gonna have enough with what's on the outside, and then just draw with that. And I love this because it gives you such a wobbly, wonky line, which brings me to the unexpected materials. I'm gonna start off by showing you a stick that I picked up from outside. I really like this stick because of how long it is. Sticks are cool because they always have a different texture on the end of it, and if you don't like that texture, you can always break it in half again and try the new side out. The stick that I have, I found gave me like some mini lines, again kind of that dry brushing feel, but you know when the line is like not solid, so it just produces like a bunch of mini lines? It was kind of doing that, and I thought that was really cool. Oh yeah, but I really liked this stick because of how long it was, which means I could hold it at the end kind of farther away from the paper, and that just gave me less control, which results in a cool drawing. I also played around with using a Q-tip and a cotton ball. The Q-tip was a lot easier to control than the cotton ball, partly just because it fit in the ink jar better, but I really liked the results of the Q-tip. It gave a really solid, pretty thick line, and then I realized that it also makes perfect circles when you like dot it on the page. So I started doing that, but then I decided to add the cotton ball texture into that same drawing, and at first I was like, man, why did I combine combine these. I should have had the cotton ball and the Q-tip as separate flowers, but I actually really like the way that it looks combined. The dots are just a lot more subtle than they would have been if I did the whole flower out of dots. And because the cotton ball is so like wide and just uncontrollable, I couldn't really make a line. All I could do was make shapes, and I really liked what that did. Then I used a little twisty tie, like the kind that seals a bread bag or that you get at the grocery store for like fruits and veggies. We have a bunch of these all over the house because my cat loves them. It's so cute. She plays fetch with them. She walks around everywhere with them in her mouth, and then she comes over and just drops it for you, and then you throw it and she brings it back, and she just does it like over and over again. It's so cute. But I did steal one of her twisty ties. Don't tell her. And that one also gave me a really cool texture, and because the metal is like bending in your hand, you can't really get a good grip on it, which just makes you lose control again. Then I found that when I kind of like pushed the twisty tie across the paper, it made this cool scattered like stipple texture, and I really like that. Although I didn't want to overdo it on that, so I just left that in a few spots. And then for the center of the flower, I used the side of the twisty tie because I forgot that I don't have to just be using the point for all of these materials. I can like use the side and see what that does. My next material was a paper towel. To get the paper towel to be more of a pen and easier to hold, I rolled it up. That also just made it more dense so that it had like more of a point and it could just hold the ink better. I like the paper towel. It was a thicker line, but it still had some texture. Now moving on to brushes. This is another more obvious one, but I love using brushes with ink. It kind of gives it like a watercolor quality, more of a painting feel. And I love drawing with like painted lines. This is an easier way to get thicker lines because brushes can be all different thicknesses and also different textures like this one. This is one of my favorite brushes. I just really like how the bristles are so pokey, and I love how it's like a flat top. Brushes are also kind of the easiest thing to use for varying your line width in a single drawing. You still have the control of like a regular handle, you're not using a cotton ball, but depending on how you angle the bristles, how much you press down or just use like the very tip of the brush, you can get a really thin or thick line and you can switch it up in a single motion. And this kind of happens like not on purpose too, which is one of the reasons that I love using brushes. And then also using a brush, you can water down the ink to get different values. I think it's cool to draw with different values, still using lines. I feel like that's a little bit more unexpected. Usually when we think of values, we think of color blocking and filling areas in, but you don't have to do that. You can just have a line drawing and all of the lines are a different lightness or darkness. So those are all of my experiments for today. I put them on this little cork board because I like how they came out and I like how they look all together. It's just a nice little inspiration to have in my studio and kind of a reminder to get out of my comfort zone. If you try this, let me know what materials you use, what worked, what didn't, because it's always just fun and I would love to try something new that I haven't thought of. I'll see you next time. Bye!